Just arrived in Valencia. Today is 22 degrees in April.
Valencia is an expert in marrying up the old and the new. Ancient Arabian architecture and Gothic churches are given a run for their money by new icons like the futuristic City of Arts and Sciences. Albufera National Park follows the south coast. The massive lake here is home to 250 species of birds, including flamingos. You can visit the cathedral, a Gothic masterpiece framed by flying buttresses and intricately carved arches. The chalice here is said to have been used by Christ during the Last Supper. The drive to the centre of Valencia is 30 minutes. And to take the hassle of arranging transport away, TUI have arranged a city transfer bus service, which is £6 per person for a return ticket, and you can book that at deck 5 at Destination Services or from one of the kiosks. So today we are doing a guided tour of Valencia, where we get the coach to Valencia City. We do a guided walk around the city centre, and then we drive up to Albufera National Park and we take a boat trip up the lake.
Very nice. So, I'll see you there.
Bye.
Ta-ra. Just getting our card scanned and then find our way to the coach. On our way now to find the coaches. Just find out now what's the number of coach we're going on. It takes half an hour to Valencia.
Welcome to Valencia. My name is Olga and our driver's name is Carlos. Today we have top 10. First, we will visit in Albufera, close to Albufera Lake, place El Palmar, and we'll have a boat trip in about 45 minutes on this lake, Albufera, lake with fresh water. And later we'll go to the center of Valencia. In Valencia we'll have walking tour, a little bit of free time, and the City of Arts and Sciences. Finally, we'll have this beautiful avant-garde building of Santiago Calatrava. Now our first visit is about 10 kilometers to the south of Valencia. This boat trip in Albufera Lake.
Oh. Just following the guide now to Albufera National Park. I think we've got about an hour here. We will be going on a boat. I think it's about 40 minutes. It's an artificial lake, and apparently it's only 1.5 meters deep.
So this area is famous with all the locals because everybody comes here on Saturdays and Sundays to eat paella.
About to get on the boat. Now we're on our way. The official boat trip, we're on for about 40 minutes. Off the boat now, we're heading our way to restaurants. I think we've got about 20 minutes, haven't we, Caesar?
I think so, time for coffee and a toilet stop.
Yeah. The boat trip was very enjoyable. Very warm as well, very relaxing. Seen a few fish, herons, different kinds of ducks. I definitely recommend it. The trip was about, what, 40 minutes?
Yeah.
Very enjoyable.
Yes, we'll be in Valencia, and in Valencia we'll have first a panoramic drive, and later we will start our walking tour in the center. In the center, the most important buildings, and we have our tour outside the cathedral, outside Silk Exchange, Central Market, and different palaces and interesting buildings and other churches in the center. A lot of palaces in Valencia, they are from the 15th century, because the 15th century was the gold age of Valencia. In the center, I'll give you some free time, and we will be back here at 1:40, okay? About 1 hour 50 minutes. Let's go.
So the walking tour begins. That's one of the two towers what survived the demolition. Is that correct?
Uh-huh.
Let's stop here. Serrano Towers. Serrano Towers were built in the 14th century, at the end of the 14th century, and it was one of the entrance when Valencia was surrounded by protected wall. There were 12 entrances, 12 towers, and only 4 towers we saw, and this one, still nowadays we have them, because in 4 towers they had a jail from noble women, and this one for noble men. So these towers still now, but these towers, the architect Pere Balaguer, the same architect that built the bell tower of the cathedral in the 14th century, Torre Miguelet, the bell tower of the cathedral. And this tower, it was the most beautiful in Middle Ages, and not only as a strategic point to protect the city and look in this side, all the place is open because when, if in case the enemy took the towers, they couldn't protect themselves from the city. It's because it's totally open in this side. And also, when some important people visited the city in Middle Ages, they welcomed them from this tower. And normally they go to the top of the tower. Inside of each tower, they have a small staircase, but not for women with these dresses from the Middle Ages. So they asked the architect, and the architect built these staircases for women. It's because another name of this tower is the Tower of Ladies, the Serrano Tower. Okay. So now we will go straight ahead in direction to the center. Let's go this way.
Plenty of shops and restaurants and cafes, isn't there?
Yep.
Is a Christopher Columbus building.
Now we'll go in direction to the Central Market and Silk Street.
So we go into the market now.
In honor of the Virgin of Abandoned People, in Spanish, Virgen de los Desamparados, from the 17th century. It's another patron saint of Valencia. Okay, let's continue this way. Group number 1.
Quite a few places are shut today because there is a big religious festival today.
Einfach
Let's turn right. The planning of this city was, in Roman times, was straight and perpendicular streets, but this Valencia nowadays is after Moor's time, with the streets like.
Oops.
Thank you.
Silk Exchange. This one. So, this building was built in the 15th century, and it was built as a business center of the 15th century. The facade is on the other side, but even the entrance for visit inside is this one. And in the middle they have orange trees in this area, like patio. This part of the building, this one, it's sea consulate of the sea. The tower, inside of the tower, they had a bank in the 15th century and a jail on the top. They had a jail because now I'll explain again in front. And this beautiful building with 17 meters high, that one, it was a contract hall because inside they had tables to sign contracts. And all this is in Gothic style. It was recognized by UNESCO as World Heritage Site in 1996. Architect very complex.
front of it is the marketplace, but it's shut today because of the religious festival.
Okay, they start the procession and they go straight to the square of the city hall, where they finished in front of the city hall. The facade of in all statues, Saint Vincent is represented like this too, because when some miracle occurred, he always signed to the God, not I, of course, it was a God. So all the time he featured the name. It has 107 centimeters, and it is a building. It's a building, the narrowest facade in Europe, with 107 centimeters. It has one owner of all this building, and it is said that he is more than 50 years old, but he is still unmarried, because inside he don't have place for double bed. But it is a joke because inside it's wider. Only the facade is so narrow and inside is wide. And this is the church of Santa Catalina. It was built in 1245, 13th century, in Gothic style, before the cathedral. The cathedral they built later in 1262, then in Gothic style too. Okay, now let's go through this beautiful round square.
C'est vrai, c'est vrai. Donc vous avez eu un supplément là, hein?
Par contre, on n'est pas descendu à la place.
Just stopped now for something to eat and a drink. We've got a 40-minute break, so I'm going to enjoy the rest.
So it's very busy today because of the religious festival. So we're just now a little arts and crafts market. Selling jewellery and fabrics, and very busy here today.
Of all days today, all the power has gone in all the restaurants and the bars and the cafes. So if you wanted to use a toilet, you had to use your phone.
Was built in the 18th century in Baroque style by Konrad Rudolf, German sculptor. And the shape of the entrance, it's concave because in the 18th century, in front of this entrance, they had a narrow street, and all this area on the left was full of houses. And after the flood of 1957, all these houses were destroyed. And now the entrance is like this, but because it was a narrow street in front. The Saint Grail they keep in this chapel. This chapel was built in the 14th century, and the bell tower in the 14th century too. Now in the 15th century they unify all these parts of the cathedral, the center from the 13th century, because in the main part is in Gothic style, but inside of the cathedral you can find different styles, starting with Gothic, Renaissance, Baroque style, Neoclassical style. inside in a chapel of Borgia, a very famous family from Valencia, two members of this family, they became popes in Rome in the 15th century.
I think we are now heading back to the coach.
The church in honor of the Virgin of Abandoned People, another patron saint of Valencia. This church was built in the 17th century in Renaissance style, and here we have the entrance, Apostles' entrance to the cathedral. In front of this Apostle entrance, every week on Thursday at 12 at midday, they celebrate Water Tribunal. Water Tribunal was recognized by UNESCO as another World Heritage Site in Valencia. And why they need this water tribunal? Because the water is important for Valencia. Valencia is surrounded by fields. And in the middle of the square we have a fountain with a boy in the middle. The boy represents the river. And the girls around the boy represent the irrigation channels, the important irrigation channels of this river Turia, the river Turia and irrigation channels. And let's come closer, I'll show you how it goes underground like potatoes. It's a tube. You can try if you want. If you want, no? Okay, enseño la bebida, por favor. And the drink, they just mix this chufa with water and with sugar, nothing more. And it is very healthy. It has a lot of minerals and vitamins. And this drink you can take only in Valencia, I think. Horchata, artisan horchata. Okay? Okay, let's continue. This one is 17 of the end of the 17th, 18th century, another from the 18th century, 19th century, and 20th century during Franco time. So the similarities of these buildings are because this huge entrance for the horses inside to go with carriage, and the first floor, not zero, the first one for owners, and the last one for servants. Later, the people, the rich people, they built two levels, two floors for themselves, but the last one was for servants.
The building of the Museum of Science and Technology, which was built in the year 2000 in honour of Prince Philip. There is restaurants inside, but they are shut. We only have 10-15 minutes to take a few pictures, then we're going back on the coach, then heading back to the ship. Our cruise destination to
Albufera Park, where we did a 40-minute boat ride up the lake, where we saw the nets where they catch the eels, herons, and other wildlife, and plenty of fish that jump in and out of the lake as you're going along in the boat.
Then we went on a walking tour guide round Valencia,
looking at all the highlights. It has been a bit rushed due to the fact that it's a national religious festival today, so the streets are very, very crowded. There's certain areas that are cut off. It's not been helped by the fact there's been a local power cut, so the restaurants and stuff had no lighting, and if you wanted to use the toilet you had to use your mobile phone for lighting.
So it's been an enjoyable trip, really enjoyed it.
All in all, it took 5 hours, and we're just about another 5 minutes, and then we'll be heading back to the coach and back on the ship.
So it's time to say goodbye. It's ta-ra from me.
And ta-ra from me.
Ta-ra.
Bye.